What was it like to be involved in the show? I got a lot of questions, but
Interesting to say the least. Very interesting. It was each episode was 5 days of filming, and the week went from the weekend was Monday, Tuesday. So it went from Wednesday to Sunday.
Your weekend was Monday, Tuesday. You guys had Monday,
The
Tuesday
filming
off.
was off.
Okay.
So I lived at that house. I'd been living there. I lived there 4 years with Phil. And I think that was year 3. But on the show, I didn't live there. I was just a friend. And the hardest part was that I lived there, but there's a crew there of like 12 to 18 people, and then like all the other people that need to be there, whether it's catering, and then like all the invited riders that are part of the episode and this and that. But I'm trying to live my normal life. So I'd come in, and like I'd try and leave the house as much as possible. So for example, I'd go ride at Rathy's with Raph in the morning. Then I'd come back to make myself lunch before I go to the cable park in the afternoon, right? So I walk in, and I'm all quiet. I'm making a sandwich. But like Phil's kitchen at the time was quite echoey. So like I drop my knife on the table, it goes ding. And then I hear, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, they're in the middle of like doing interviews, and like I dinged, and I'm like, they come out and they're so angry, and I'm like, I'm sorry guys, like I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but like I also live here and I'm trying to eat. Like unless you want to give me money to go like eat out of the house, like I also need to do my thing. Like I get it. Like, you know, do you want me to text you next time and be early and like, hey, I'm gonna come and make myself lunch from like 1 to 1:30, like can you take a break, whatever, like I don't know. So they were just like, okay, no problem, text us next time, whatever. There was also a time where I was like, can I have a budget to go to the gym, because like all the equipment for me to work out that's in the garage is like piled on with like camera gear and stuff. And I'm like, I can't really do anything. And they just cleared some stuff around. So, you know, there was some good and some bad about that whole thing. Like,
somewhat accommodating, it sounds like, though. At least they tried.
Yeah, they made it work. And you know what? Like the crew was fun. The gang was fun. The experience was very interesting, but like it's kind of surreal, because in a way, like never would I have imagined that I would be on a TV show like that. Then again, we were doing it with all our friends, and as kooky as it was, we were all so scared it was going to come off even more kooky. Like I remember like with Bob at night, we'd have so many conversations. I was like, dude, you guys get to dictate how wakeboarding is going to come off to the world. And I was always so upset that it would be like 3 cutaway shots of like an ungrabbed scarecrow on a choppy day, because that is when they scheduled we were going to wakeboard at 12:30 when the sun's all the way up and it's windy as. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, let's make it where it's about like, yes, you guys, but let's make wakeboarding cool. But MTV is more about like,
they're going to run their show.
Everything else, the drama and the bullshit.
Yeah.
Which there was quite a bit of.
I mean, that's what does the numbers, man. That's what the people want to see when they're watching MTV, I guess.
But like none of us are actors. So when they say reality TV, it's like, well, you're real people. But then imagine we just had this whole conversation, and then someone walks in and says, hey, let's do it again. But instead of saying it this way, say it that way, and then say that.
So meaning like a moment would happen in the show, and they were like, oh, that's a good moment. Let's tweak it a little bit. Run it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, dude.
It's not how this really works for us. We're not actors.
We're just, you know, like it is strange, and we're conscious that there's cameras and whatnot, but like, you know, it's weird and funny, and like we're not actors. Like you want me to like try and reenact that? Like that's naughty. Like it doesn't seem fun anymore if it's not organic.
100%.
I'm grateful for the experience, but I always get nervous and cringe when people bring it up, because I'm like, oh man, that was so weird.
Did they pay you for? Did they pay?
They paid you per episode.
Was it different per person, or was it? I mean, obviously Bob and Phil.
Of course, it was different.
Deal, but
like I think, like, you know, obviously Bob and Phil got paid way more than we did, but it's their show and they're on every episode, and like the time that they have to put in, and like their brand as a person also, like whether it goes well or not, like, you know, there's also implications. I forget. I think I got paid like between 5 and 800 per episode.
It's not great. It's not great
for a full week's work.
Yeah.
And then like
And
those days
also-
that you're filming, you're on call. Like you don't get to go practice. You don't get to see your friends. You don't get to ride. You don't get to work out. You don't get to do anything. You're just there. And then like in my head, I was like, I'm wearing my Rockstar hat. I'm wearing my Oakley hat. Like I'm getting my brands as much screen time as possible. And like, I'm going to try and milk that on my next contract and get some incentives. Nobody cared. Nobody asked anything. Like I would send them screenshots and like whatever. And they were just like, we pay you to have our logo on. Like,
thanks for doing your job, man.
you know, there's no photo incentive for this.
Was there a rail jam in that show? Downtown Orlando or somewhere in Florida?
There was a rail jam in Florida and it was downtown Orlando.
Was it real?
I mean, we rode. Yeah, it was real.
I don't know. Quinn Silvernail commented something the other day, and he was like, "It was a real but fake rail jam for the show." And I wasn't.
So I saw that, and I can't remember if it was meant to have like prize money and like results, or if it was like a jam. Like I don't remember.
Okay.
Like I just remember that I was like, I don't want to get hurt. I just want to ride and not get hurt because it's always janky, a little bit at least, and like it's fun, but like you know, I'm like, what's the purse like? Let's say it's $1,000. I'm not about to like hold on to a landing that might not be perfect and then like get ejected off the pool and
season's over.
Season's over.
Yeah.
So like I don't remember exactly. I think my vision of it was more like we're gonna go ride and then we're gonna party. That sounds cool.
And MTV was like, all right, we're gonna set all this up.
So I don't even remember I don't remember very much.
Quinn, I think I'll talk to Quinn about it because he seems like he had a pretty good memory on it. So interesting. Anything else unique from that experience, Wakebrothers?
I think the wildest experience was the New York episode where we rode by the Statue of Liberty. So I was the driver. So right beside me, I have a specialist to navigate those waters because there's like a lane for like the military.
Yeah.
Then there's like a state lane. Then there's like a federal lane. And then there's like the shuttle boat that brings people to the Staten Island and off and whatnot. So like he's like, you see these wide buoys? If you get within 100 yards or whatever from this buoy, we're all going, like, they're coming. They're taking us in. And like, I'm Canadian. I don't know about your yards, man. Like meters or feet, kilometers, miles, but like yards, like I don't play golf. I don't play football. Like I don't know. So I'm so nervous. It's choppy as I'm trying to get some nice water. Phil's freaking out. Bob jumps in. I'm driving boat. Like this whole thing. And I'm like in the middle of it. Like it was really cool, but it was also like, why am I driving? Like, why is it me?